Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to look at yet another one of the Shadowlands systems. It's those oranges. Let's get into the Legos.
Yeah. That is...
The legendary system in the Shadowlands is bigger and bigger and bigger than you've seen before. We are going to see 200 legendary items come into the game at the launch of the Shadowlands, with no doubt more to come after. At the start of the game, you're going to be able to equip one, although they're clearly designed to work in synergy with each other, so expect later down the line that we will be equipping more than one, and they're taken from all kinds of places.
I think you'll probably be able to equip 2 or 3.
In order for Blizzard to come up with the 200 Legos, they have had to borrow ideas from Torghast, from Legion Legendaries, from Azerite traits, and from tier set bonuses. Fully one half of the things are just Legion Legendaries and tier set bonuses of the past. Now, what that also means is they've toned them down to be about on par with tier sets. Blizzard has recently realized this, that the Legendaries are underwhelming. They're not really doing much for you, they don't add much gameplay, and you would much prefer, say, the Legion version of Cephas compared to the Shadowlands version of Cephas, as it's one of them is much more powerful and much more fun. So a post last week actually said that Blizzard have realized this, and they're going to be buffing the legendaries. Now, unlikely to change in most cases is the effects of the legendaries, but what they will buff is the strength of the legendaries. Although that does bring into question certain legendaries and how that will work. For example, one of the monk legendaries just adds another charge of roll. So when they say they're going to buff them, does that mean it will be 2 charges of roll, or will that legendary be replaced entirely?
It's the roll will have a lightning underneath it, and whenever you roll, anybody that runs under the lightning will fucking die. That's why. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, dude. That's so shitty. Yeah, right. That's awesome.
Hard to say. But to make things easy, our own Mr. Fingal has made an entire spreadsheet for you. It's linked down below. You can go in and check it. It contains all the info you'll need for your class's legendaries, including the generic ones, which are accessible to every single class and spec in the game. Your class ones, which are available to all of the specs of your class.
I like that.
And then your spec-specific ones. So
I've got to look at these.
You're going to have 4 class ones, usable by anything. Then you're going to get 4 spec-specific ones on top of that as well. So there's plenty to choose from here, although right now it seems pretty clear, at least in our minds, that there is one really good one and the rest of them are not so great. What we've also included in the spreadsheet is the sources of these legendaries, because they are recipe based. You will need to get the recipe in order to construct them. That's going to be stage 1 of actually crafting your legendaries, as they are crafted. And some of them are a little all over the place. Recently it was about 50% of them didn't have a location, and then Blizzard just threw them all in Torghast. And it does feel, at least to us, that Blizzard ran out of places to have all these recipes drop, because there's so goddamn many of them, and therefore just shoved them into Torghast in one way or another.
That's fine, I guess. I mean, I like the idea of being able to do different things in the game and unlock the legendaries. It's kind of like essences in a way. I think that's cool. So if they want to do more of that in Torghast, it's okay. The only problem is that it's tied to the success of Torghast. So if Torghast sucks and there's a bunch of legendaries that you have to go into Torghast to get, then it makes Torghast suck even more. So that's my main concern.
You'll also note that some of them come from world bosses, which raises the question, and we haven't been able to confirm this yet, whether or not the world bosses are on the weekly rotation like we're used to, and if that recipe would then be 100% drop rate from that world boss. As you may remember, in Legion, one of the potion recipes was from a world boss, and that world boss did not appear for many, 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 many weeks. And that could be a big problem if they go down that road.
Oh, dude, that was the fucking spider in Suramar. I do remember that. Yeah, because it was like rank 3 prolonged power. I'm pretty sure the way that works.
Again, especially if that drop is not 100%. Same question can be asked from the ones dropping from the end of dungeons. As it looks right now, the dungeon recipes are not 100% drop rate. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, guys. So the first stage, as I said, is getting the recipe itself. Then you need the resources to actually craft it. How is that done? Well, you're going to need a base piece of armor. That's going to be from the relevant constructionists. So a blacksmith is going to build the plate stuff, a leather worker is going to build the mail stuff and the leather stuff, etc., etc.
That makes sense.
You can have legendaries that go on your neck, on your rings, all that kind of stuff, excluding trinkets, and you'll be able to apply multiple effects. So a cloak, for example, can hold 4 different legendary effects. You'll only be able to apply 1, but that means that you can have, if you say craft a legendary necklace, and then you get a really good necklace drop, and you're like, oh my god, you might be able to also put that effect on a pair of pants, so you can take that necklace off and still get that legendary bonus that you actually want. So
how do you guys feel about that? Like, is it too... So, like, I do have a concern, and I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, and I'm just kind of, like, putting it out there. Do you guys feel like the change and the legendaries are so open-ended that they won't have an identity? Like, there won't be, like, an identity of, like, the Fire Mage bracers or the Warrior, belt or something like that. So, I don't know if that's going to work or not. I think it just really kind of depends. And I think it's swappable. Who cares? Doesn't matter. They still have the same effect. I don't know. Like, I think the Legion had this happen, and I think that it was much more defined in Legion. But with this, it's going to be much different. So I just call them relics instead of legendaries. Legendaries should be hard to get. At this point, they can't go back on it. Like they should just make another tier of like artifact items outside of the weapons that you're able to get in like really, really hard places in the game, or like relic items or some sort of other like capstone item that won't be unique. Yeah, I don't want to regret my choice though. You're very, very right. So like, I don't know. It's a weird balance though.
Well, that's a good thing. You're going to need Soul Ash. Soul Ash is the currency in order to craft these things, and this comes from your weekly Torghast runs. Now, this is separate from the Twisting Corridors, which is the Everlasting run, which is actually 18 floors.
Okay.
Instead, this works much more like Visions. So once you go into the main Torghast hub, on your left-hand side, you will see 6 doorways. Only 2 of those per week will be active.
Dude, I can't wait to do this.
On the right-hand side, you will see the
I hope I
Twisting
don't
Corridors
hate it.
entrance. The 2 that you get to do are then divided into layers. So you can only do 2 per week of the 6 available, and Blizzard will cycle through these, so you'll have 2 one week, next week another 2, and so on and so forth.
What do you guys think about that? How you cycle through? I think it's fine. I think they should try cycling at the beginning, because the thing is, like, if they don't cycle, they can never cycle. So if they don't start with the cycle, they'll never be able to revert to it. So, like, for example, like with Mythic Keys, I think having different weeks have different affixes is probably a good thing. But I don't know. Like, I don't have a strong opinion on this one way or another. But I think this is definitely a good direction to take in terms of, like, A/B testing. So, like, you just put it into the game, see how people respond to having it being tiered out. And that way people can look forward to certain layouts and, wait for others. I don't know, though. We'll see.
And then it's divided into difficulty layers. The intention here is pretty clear. They do not want you reaching the maximum layer week 1, and that's going to be layer 8. And the way they're doing this is in order to access layer 2, you need to complete layer 1. In order to get to 3, you need to do 2, and so on and so forth, all the way up to level 8, which is the maximum now. And because these runs are only 6 floors each, the Torghast powers themselves play much less of a factor compared to your base gear level. So in week 1, you can expect to do some floors, gear up, come back the next week into a different area, and continue onwards.
I don't know how to feel about this. And that's really the truth. Like, I think I think I need to play this and really just kind of like have an opinion. I feel like there's a lot of these systems in the game that are really annoying early on, but then after you kind of do all of the beginning of the expansion activities, they don't matter. And I think this is really what it's going to be. They're not really going to matter after like a month. This is one thing that definitely needs to happen, though, is that you need to make sure that, what do you call it? Oh, yeah, you make sure it's account-wide. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, make sure it's account-wide. That's the only thing you need to do. That's the big problem that I think BFA had, is that they had these in-game systems, but they weren't account-wide, and it made people feel like they couldn't play their alts. That's really what it is.
thing that is really good here is that once you've completed a layer, so let's say you complete layer 5, layer 6 is universally unlocked across every other Torghast run. You don't need to do, say, oh, these 2 are open now. I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in one of them, and then go to the next one and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in that one. That is not how it works. Once you complete a difficulty level, that is universally unlocked for them all. What that means is if you want the maximum amount of Soul Ash from week 1, that's going to need 9 runs in week 1. You're going to have to do the full 8 runs to unlock all the layers and collect all the Soul Ash. And then in your next run, in the second wing, that will automatically be unlocked at level 8, so that needs 1 run. And then after that, it will simply be 2 runs per week to collect all your Soul Ash. So they've divided the Soul Ash up into these tiers.
That's kind of annoying,
layer, you will get
but
some
whatever.
amount of Soul Ash, and by layer 8, you will have collected 50 Soul Ash. What
It's
that
not
means
a big
is if
deal,
you go
though.
into a different wing and just do level 8, you will get all the Soul Ash available, which will be 50. There's 2 wings per week, which means a total of 100 Soul Ash per week, and it costs 100 Soul Ash in order to craft a legendary item.
Okay.
Now, let's go back to these base items for a moment. So
I actually don't care at all about making my character better. The only thing that I'm going to do is craft all of the legendary pieces for the different armor slots so I can use it for transmog. I don't care about anything else besides that. I'm just going to work on trying to get the transmog set, and fuck the rest of it. Who cares?
they are item level based, and this will determine the item level of your legendary. This means that crafters, say your blacksmiths, they will get a recipe to build, say, Shadowghast shoulders. So these are a blank pair of shoulders. They contain no stats, but they are the item you need in order to apply a legendary effect to them. What this then incurs is that as they learn and craft more of those, they will unlock a higher item level base item, and then again an unlock a higher base item level after that. So you might be thinking, which one shall I wait before I craft my legendary? What should I do here? Well, they've put in an upgrade system as well. So if you are doing some sort of cutting edge progression, or you would really like your legendary as fast as possible, you can take the low level base item piece, create a low level legendary, so you have it and you have the legendary effect. And instead of having to just recraft the legendary again every time the item level goes up, you can simply upgrade that item. And it looks to us like all you do is get the extra base item piece and apply it to it, and that will upgrade the item level.
That's good. Like, what's wrong with that? That's completely fucking fine. Yeah, I don't know. Like, would you... Yeah, the thing is, you guys think that's boring? Fuck that. I don't want to recraft the same thing 5 times. That's stupid. Yeah, that's dumb as fuck. Like, I don't want to recraft it over and over and over. Why?
It's obviously because Blizzard does not want you to go out week 1, get your legendary, and be done for the entire expansion with it. You're going to steadily increase the power of these things via their item level and through their effects. So that is how that system's going to work. You'll also want to apply stats to them. This is made by inscribers. Inscribers, you have lots to do because you can also craft necklaces and things. Inscribers are going to craft these things called missives, and these missives are just base stats, and you can apply 2 of them to each legendary. So you'll have missive of crit, missive of burst, missive of mastery, missive of haste, and then when you go to craft your legendary, you'll be able to apply either crit haste, burst mastery, and this is really cool as well, because if you...
I feel like one concern that I have with this is that it might be so accessible that it just makes gearing like just easy. Like, it's just, you just buy this 2 things on the auction house, they're super easy to get, and that's it. So I'm concerned about that, but I think that it's definitely... So, like, I would rather them err on that side than making things so obscure and like annoying and like RNG to farm. So I'm glad that they're taking this perspective instead of the beginning of the Legion perspective. Where is it in the middle that's the best? I don't know, but I'm glad they're starting with this.
One legendary effect that's the most powerful for multiple specs, but the stats that you want on them are different. You can craft multiple of the same legendary onto an item and just apply different stats to it. You can do whatever you want to do. There's a lot of swapping and changing going on with this system to allow for maximum flexibility. What these realistically are they are tagged as legendaries, and the final power outcome that Blizzard provides may be up to what we would consider a legendary status, although...
There hasn't been legendaries in the game since Burning Crusade. Like, Wrath of the Lich King? No, I'm sorry. But doing Yogg with doing 3 light Yogg, which is what you needed to do to get Valinir, is not legendary. It's just not. It's a joke. It's so easy to do. It's a joke. Like, Shadowmourne was a joke to get. It would just take longer if you did it on normal mode. Like, 25-man Nax normal mode? Yeah, right. And then you had to beat Lich King on normal mode with, by that time, the buff, because you would have had that many stacks, or sorry, that many weeks because of the Shadowfrost shards. I'm sorry. But, like, a Nax, I always say Nax. I always mean to say ICC. Yeah, you beat ICC. Like, it would take you probably 2 or 3 months to get that done. It wasn't legendary whenever you completed it. You were just farming the normal mode version of the raid. Like, I'm sorry, that's not legendary. Legendary is beating Illidan after you completed all of the content in the game leading up to Illidan, killing him, having the fucking Warglaives drop, and getting the Warglaives. Legendary was killing Cthulhu, getting the base of Atiesh, collecting 40 fucking splinters out of the last raid in the game, Naxxramas, and finally getting the head of Atiesh from Kel'Thuzad himself, taking a 5-man world buff, fully tier 3 group raid, or sorry, full tier 3 group, 5-man group, into Strat, and then fighting a 5-man boss that's more challenging than anything that you got in a Burning Crusade Heroic. That was fucking legendary. Farming a normal mode raid? I'm sorry. It just wasn't.
It will no doubt be nowhere near something like Dragon Wrath or Thunder Fury or Warglaives. They're really hot swappable tier set bonuses. That's what they realistically are. And it's a good system. I quite like this. There's no big drawbacks to it. It's a little convoluted that you need to go and get recipes, and then you need to go here for Soul Ash, and then you need to go here for the missives to apply to it, and then you need to go over here to get the base item. But it's a very simple system once you actually get used to it. And it's nothing that should be of great alarm. It's certainly nothing like the conduit system or anything along those lines with some convoluted extra stuff that's unnecessary.
Right.
Now, one thing we have noticed about this system, which is quite interesting, is that because they've borrowed so heavily from tier set bonuses and Legion legendaries in particular, is that it's become very apparent that in some cases a fully statted out, geared up Shadowlands character isn't going to be as, say, strong or have the gameplay changing options or gameplay advancements, I think is a more appropriate way, because a lot of the Legion legendaries just advanced your gameplay. They didn't provide extra buttons and things, but they added some unique effects which made your gameplay more fun for the most part. Very little of the Legion legendaries came under scrutiny for being boring, especially the ones that people actually wanted to use.
That's true. The Legion legendaries were cool.
Bonuses, in some cases, such as Nighthold in particular, some classes had what would equate to 4 Shadowlands legendaries effects as normal. If you include their tier sets and the 2 legendaries you could equip at the time, you basically had 4 Shadowlands legendaries equipped on you that altered your gameplay in some way. So some people are probably going to be a little downhearted by that, but again, rest easy. Blizzard is buffing these legendaries in terms of power.
Obviously, like, I think Legion did a really great job in creating opportunities for players to be able to change their gameplay based off of what they were doing. Like, I really think Legion did an amazing job with that. And they had things that were, like, for Prot Warriors, for example, like the gloves for Prot Warriors were ridiculous for damage, and so was the belt. And then the belt was like borderline also good for survivability. And then you had the bracers that were just really good for survivability. And then you had like the ring that was like pretty much trash, but you could use it in like a couple of circumstances. And then you had something like Pridaz or something like Safuz that you would use situationally inside of different dungeons. And I think that the Legion Legendary system, while the implementation of it was bad and like the acquisition of it was bad, the ends that it accomplished, the way that it changed your gameplay is something that Blizzard should try to strive towards in the future. I was a big fan of that. I liked it a lot.
And it should hopefully be a pretty interesting and cool system once it plays out. If I'm being honest, right now the system is really lackluster, not because of the crafting method, but because of the power associated with it. They're simply, like I say, some of these are Azerite traits, some of them come from glyphs. Literally, Cataclysm glyphs are now considered legendary. Some of them just add a roll. Some of them have nice effects, but for the most part, they're passive bonuses, which we have an absolute metric ton of in the Shadowlands, with the like 400 Soulbind variations and conduits, and then the legendaries on top. So it should be a standout system when it's finally done. So fingers crossed for that one. That's your legendary system, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Great. That's pretty much the way that I was hoping that they would do it. I remember whenever I first saw the Legendaries, I thought they looked like shit. And so I wasn't very excited to see that. The Legion Legendaries, I was very excited to see them whenever they first came out because I thought the effects would be game-changing enough to where it was exciting and fun to play. All right, there it is. Top comment. When an epic trinket is better than a legendary, can you really call it a legendary? That is a bit of a true. It is a bit of a true. Man, I don't know really what else to say, man.